talking about what it takes to be successful, what it takes to accomplish what you're capable of. And today I want to talk about vision. If you're ever going to create anything great in your life, it's because you had the courage to first think about it and create it mentally before it shows up physically. And I think one of the challenges there is no matter how successful you are, when you really stretch your vision of what's possible, when you, what we call get out on the skinny branches, if you will, it gets uncomfortable. And there's this little voice in our head that kicks in, and typically that voice isn't positive. Typically that voice is negative. That's the voice that says, well, hold on there, sport, right? What makes you think you can do that? You might embarrass yourself. You don't have enough time. You don't have enough money. You know, some reason why it's impossible for you. And you really got to get beyond that. And first recognize that everyone experiences that. No matter how successful they are, when they're really taking new ground and they're stretching, they experience that. So don't let that stop you. And we have to be able to move from that impossible to possible in our thinking if you're ever going to create it. And one of the things that really gets in the way of you making that shift from impossible to possible is this question we ask really early on in the process. So if I said to you, hey, in the next 12 weeks, we're going to double your income and you're going to work 1 day a week less doing it. Most of you would probably not be opposed to that. But you'd have a question. And one of the first questions you would have would be what? It'd be how, right? How do I do that? Now, here's the problem with that question. You don't know how. Right? You don't know how, because if you did, you'd be doing it. And because you don't know how, that question reinforces the fact that it's impossible. Do you see that connection? Gosh, how would I do that? Don't know how. Oh, see, you're right, little voice in my head. It is impossible for me. So I want to give you a completely different question to ask. And it can be a life-changing question when you're really stretching your vision of what's possible. And that's the question of what if. Suspend the question of how. At this stage of the process, you'll figure out how later. Just trust the process. At this stage, just what if? You know, little voice, you're probably right. I probably can't do that. But what if I could? What might be different for me, for my family, for my staff, for my coworkers, for my community, for my clients, right? And you're just allowing yourself to mentally try it on. And here's the thing I can tell you, the first couple times you do that, it's going to be really, really uncomfortable. That's okay. Stay with it. Keep trying it on. The more you try it on mentally, the more comfortable you're going to get to, at some point you move from impossible to possible. Now you're off and running, right? Because that vision is really at the heart of why you're willing to do the things you need to do to create the results you want to create. Because here's the thing. I would argue if you're going to create a different result in any area of your life, you're going to have to do things differently and do different things. I like to say, can I get an amen? Because it's gospel truth. If you want something you don't currently have, you're going to have to do something you're not currently doing. And every time you do that, there's this level of uncertainty. There's a level of discomfort and anxiety, right? And so why are you willing to step into that? Well, there has to be a vision of the future that's bigger than the present. It has to be compelling. Otherwise, you get stuck and you continue to do what you've always done, which is how great performers become mediocre. It's how great businesses absolutely go out of business. And now here's the thing. When we talk vision with people, usually they talk about their career vision, their business vision. That's not where we start with the 12-week year, because business is part of life. It's not life. We start with your personal life. What do you want your life to look like 3 years from now, 5 years from now? By the way, what would great look like? God willing, you're going to be here. Let's make it great. And then what do you need to do in your career, your business to align and enable that? So there's this emotional connection between what you do Monday through Friday and the life you want to live. And the stronger that connection is, the easier it's going to be for you to step out and do the things you need to do. All right, again, I'm Brian Moran. And if you want more of this stuff, 12weekyear.com is where you can find us.